welcome back to the Hunter Burton Memorial Open. We're here for round 2, and joining me in the booth now is the Tan and Grace.
How's it going, David? Nice to be here today.
Going well. We had a great round 1. Got to cover 2 quick matches. Got to see a Dredge get played, which I'm a big fan of. They lost, but maybe we'll get to see him again on camera.
See, I'm the other way around. I'm not a very big fan of Dredge, mostly because I just always lose to it. Like I never seem to beat that deck. But also getting to get a Aspiring Spike on camera is always nice as well. Always has a brew. Makes your job as hard as possible. You know, cards that if you haven't played that limited format, you may have never seen this card before in your life. So that one's always a little good way to start the morning, get you warmed up.
It helps that I watch a bunch of his content to prepare for this.
I mean, who does?
How I catch up with Modern. Yeah. But as we go into round 2, our first feature match is going to be Azorius Control, played by Jarek Alford, and Esper Reanimator, played by 2-time Hunter Burton champion Gary Wong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought I recognized Gary here. I've seen him hoist. Well, hoist probably is the right word. That trophy's a little big. I know I couldn't pick it up, and I've even been in the gym a lot lately. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting match between these two. Esper Reanimator, kind of the new kid on the block in the fact that it's been around a while, but lately you've been seeing its lion's share of the format really go up. Though some people are saying that the ban actually hurt this deck because it was doing really well against Rhinos and some of the decks that are more popular, and it wasn't going to do as well against, say, like Yawgmoth, which they expect to have a bigger representation here this weekend than right before the banning that we had. So we'll have to see how well Esper's going to do, because I've seen a lot of it in the room, David.
Yeah, there's a lot of it in the room. It's fun. I think that is a big deal for it. And a lot of people play this event not just because they're trying to win and put their name on the trophy, but because they're here to support the thing. And if you're going to play, 15 rounds of Magic, I think you should try to have fun as much as possible.
Look, I've played a lot of tournaments, a lot where we've had to play a lot of rounds, and I wanted to win very first, right? But there is a point where you have to think about yourself and your just your mental health going through 15 rounds if you just really don't like playing the deck that you're playing or have fun with it. So that's a big part as well here. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a nice little start out for both the players here. Looks like both mana bases are gonna be fully developed here on turn 1, and this one, kind of strap in a little bit. I don't expect this one to go super fast unless the Esper Reanimator player here, Gary, has an exceptionally strong draw, and Jarek has no way to interact in the first couple turns. But
the Esper deck getting access to both Thoughtseize and Grief in this matchup, and then being able to just overwhelm the blue-eye control very quickly. Like, all you have to do is resolve it once, and you're probably going to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Grief is going to go really, really hard here. It's going to be really strong this matchup with the fact that you don't have to commit mana to it in the turn that you're going to be interacting with your opponent's hand. So, because you're going to be a little more strapped on mana here in the Esper Reanimator deck. You're trying to go off of 2 or 3 lands here. So what you're going to be able to do is evoke Grief with all of your mana up, see your opponent's hand. If they only have one way to interact with you, you take that one way, and then you start trying to go off and put a Trax into play as quickly as possible with Goryo's Vengeance or something of the like. So you could do that as soon as turn 2 with some of your very good draws.
Yeah. Esper getting a second 2-mana draw discard, so Faithful Mending on top of the Tainted Indulgence, I feel like really pushed the deck.
Two instant speed versions of it as well. Yeah, huge
deal. I think that the Violent Outburst banning really says that Magic wants Modern interacting less at instant speed. It doesn't want you to be able to win the game basically at instant speed.
Absolutely. And you saw that in the fact that they said it in the announcement that they wanted to make sure that Force of Negation was actually acting as intended, the way they printed to. It was supposed to interact, in the way that it's printed. And if you have Violent Outburst, you could play it during their instep. They might have to protect yourself, and then they get to just do what they want in their main phase.
Combo, not protect combo.
Exactly, right? Like you don't get to just pick your fight whenever you want. You have to do it more traditionally, the way that Magic has played in the last, 30 years at this point. Man rolled.
Jarek's hand really not the sort of sculpt that you would want against Esper Reanimator. It does have the Solitude ready to get rid of the first threat if Gary's able to get one in play. But once the threat's in play, the damage is basically done.
Yeah, Solitude does keep you from getting hit by, say, a card by Atraxa, but the real damage Atraxa does is the come into play ability, because that means it's going to happen again really soon. It's going to start happening over and over and over again. And that's the thing, you think about Reanimators from, say, like the legacy versions where, they put a big monster into play and usually like either attack you right away or attack you next turn. The game just ends.
Yeah.
This one can play a lot longer of a game. I also want to point one other thing out that I've noticed here in this game, David. Early leader in the clubhouse, this match in particular, for basic land choice of the tournament.
Yeah, those are Those are A+
on both sides. Yeah,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Those are some nice APOC lands here.
Yeah.
Personal favorites of mine. And if you're going to be playing nice basics, I'm a big fan of. I think Beta is my absolutely favorite, but APOC is way up there.
What do you think about Grizzlebrand being replaced as the reanimation target of choice? They have access to Grizzlebrand. They don't play 4. They play 4 Atraxa.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the fact that Atraxa is going to draw you, what, like 4.5 cards on average or something like that in this deck? Yeah, exactly. It keeps everything going because it functions as a Grizzlebrand without having to pay the 7 life. Yeah.
Yep. It's a very big deal. For me, love those lands. Original unhinged lands.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I have the original. I have art of those signed and hung on my wall. Those are my faves. They've also gotten very hard to find at this point, just like these have.
It's John Avon, right? If I remember. Yeah. Big fan of John Avon lands. Just any of them in particular, but those for sure.
So Teferi from Jarek here goes a long way to control when your opponent gets to do things and they don't get to respond. Gary doesn't actually have a bunch of counter spells though. It's all discard based disruption. So Teferi will be annoying, but not the end of the world.
You can see Gary, the way that he's playing this game, you can tell that he's kind of settling in for what you and I kind of expect to happen in this game. The fact that he, didn't pitch to Grief early. He's just going to, I'm content on turn 4 to pay 4 mana for this threat, interact with your hand, and then put an actual threat into play because Jarek can't just let Grief hit him 5 times. He'll just die, And so this is a good way for Gary to start checking Garek's hand and really start forcing the game.
Solitude's the only decent answer. Prismatic Ending, not very good against any of the threats in Gary's deck. Subtlety, I assumed, was going to be the take, so we're left with 2 Solitudes and 2 cards to pitch to Solitude. It's the most likely outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to have to 2-for-1 yourself here in some way, or, spend a lot of mana as a sorcery, or I guess you could up your Teferi and use as an instant speed here, but it does look like he's going to go ahead and just add the companion to his hand here, going shields down here other than those Solitudes, but that's good enough in this matchup. Because the creature's going to do what they do, but you have a Solitude here to kind of break it up. And Garrick's also in here for the long game and can play a super long turns because one of the things you can do as the blue-white player here is actually run Gary out of things to do. If you get enough, Supreme Verdicts, enough Solitude triggers during this game, Gary's the point where he just actually doesn't have things left to do and reanimate in his deck.
Yeah, there aren't that many actual threats. They're incredible threats, but there just aren't a ton of them.
All right, we have our first check here.
First time.
Yep, Goryo's Vengeance on a Grizzlebrand, and the real problem here, other than the attack, is going to be the fact that there's at least 7 more cards coming from Gary here.
Yeah, luckily in this situation, Gary's not under any pressure. He's fine to take 7. Probably don't want to take 14, but fine to take 7 after this gets Solituded.
And you have to believe. The Grizzlebrand's going to get Solitude
anyway, so might take 14 cards here.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I think what you do here. So I love this attack. You attack the Grief at the Planeswalker because the big threat is actually Grizzlebrand here, and you can't let Grizzlebrand hit you if you're Garrick because of the 7 life link here. So he's going to go ahead and take care of that, make sure it's gone for the rest of the game. But I think with Gary, you're going to see him draw 7 here. Take a look at these 7,
like, and then maybe go again.
Yeah, if it's bad, if it's like 6 lands ephemerate, or something like that, maybe we go deep. Well, I was about to say I saw the first 5.
Ephemerate.
It looked like it might be that way. So I think this is a touch the spirit realm.
Yes.
And this is going to be channeled here as well. So what this is going to do is it's going to blink the Grizzlebrand in response to the Solitude. I believe this is on the Grizzlebrand. Yeah, it's going to Solitude again.
I thought it was on this.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the target was. We kind of missed that part, but I assume it's on the Grizzlebrand, but I could just be wrong.
Yeah.
So what this does is it kind of flickers the creature that's in play, as you see here on the screen. It would be a new Grizzlebrand when it came back.
Yeah, no longer need to be sacrificed.
And so, here we go. You called it. Here's the 14. Gary, very content to just go down to 3 here.
I can get 7 of them back on the second Solitude.
Right, so it does look like the second Solitude is going to resolve. The Grizzlebrand is going to get exiled. It's going to put Gary back up to 10 here. Yep, that's going to take 3 damage.
And now, Jarek's down to 2 cards in hand. Both, I believe, unknown at this point. Gary has 25-ish.
Yeah, give or take 7. Yeah, it looks like
Grief to clear the way here.
And so here's where the deck really gets to flex, right? He draws 7 or 14 cards in a turn. You're tapped out, but you still have Grief in your deck. You still have these cards you can play technically for free.
And pitch
a whole things. And then also, when you get to discard to hand size here, you get to discard Atraxa. You get to discard the cards that you're gonna want because you're gonna find those Goro's Vengeance by drawing 14 cards in a turn. So Gary's operating on all cylinders here.
Is that a Supreme Verdict that he got rid of? I can't actually.
Yes, that is a Supreme Verdict. Yes.
And the last card in hand was might be One Ring. No, he wouldn't have left that.
That's the Cohera, I believe. It's the
it is the Cohera. Yeah, we knew that card was in his hand. And here's the Cohera. Foils and alternate arts.
Hardest part of the job, David.
No, thank you. Gary now with a fully sculpted hand. Agorio's Vengeance on Atraxa this time.
Yeah, it's always fun when you draw more cards than the control deck. You know, there's, oh, you're the blue deck with like cards on it. That's cute. Let me show you what's really done here.
Mm-hmm.
And
this should be over. This is all over but the concession, I believe. We'll get around to it.
Yeah, I mean, Gary's in a very commanding position here. He's going to be doing this practically every turn for the rest of the game. And as you saw, Jarek's hand, not the greatest at stopping this from this point.
The addition of the Ephemerates and the channel being able to just turn them to their normal versions and get a second trigger off of Atraxa, just such a big level up for this deck.
And that looks like
the Ephemerate.
Yeah, but it looks like what's happening here. The Ephemerate's going to go ahead and trigger Atraxa again, but this one's going to actually stick around.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's any point in time where Gary has to worry about decking himself, but
I know that you don't really play a whole lot of competitive Magic these days, but
oh, come on.
this is the deck I would have played today. What would you have played?
I think this would also be my choice because it's just so cool.
Fun.
Yeah, it's just so cool. Look at what you're just doing so much powerful things. Like
the fact that Gary picked it means it's probably the right pick for the weekend too.
I mean, if you're a two-time defending champion of the Hunter Burton Memorial Open, you probably know what you're doing in this room. Also, I gotta admit too, Garrick no slouch here as well. I've actually seen Garrick play quite a bit. Hell of a player.
Yes. His hand just never developed into the sort of cards you'd want against the Reanimator deck. Part of that was the Thoughtseize on turn one.
Yeah.
From there, just no counter spells drawn, and Gary was able to just take his hand apart with the mix of grief and then blinking.
Yeah, you're seeing what really is the power of Esper Reanimator. You know, when you think of Reanimator decks in the past, it's just, and that is going to get the concession. When you think of it in the past, what it does is a lot of the Reanimator decks would put some big disgusting thing, some big creature into the graveyard, right? And then they would put it into play, and if you answered it, yeah, well, maybe able to do it again, right? In the past, it was Emrakul, maybe it was Gristle Brand, but it was just some, you know, some giant 15/15 worm that would maybe leave back some more, but you could maybe have multiple sweepers or a way to exile it and get through. The problem nowadays is it's Gristle Brand, it's Atraxa, it's some way that's also generating a ton of card quality and quantity, and then it's sculpting your hand for later, and then you've also got Grief and Thoughtseize on top of that, so you're getting attacked from every angle possible as the blue-white control player, so you need a bunch of answers here. We
are back very quickly with game two here. If we look at the sideboard options that were likely to come in, Dovin's Veto seems possible out of the blue-white control deck. There's an additional Supreme Verdict, but there is a Rest in Peace. There's only the one of them. We talked about how it seems like Graveyard Hate was a little down on the weekend. Only one of them is not, I think, where you want to be playing in this matchup.
Yeah, you'd like to have the full four, I think, for this matchup, but yeah, great card for this, but another card where Thoughtseize and Grief shine in this matchup as well, because you can interact with your opponent's hand before they get something like that into play sometimes too. So it's putting a lot of pressure. Like that card's having to do a lot of heavy lifting and then still might not even resolve in games in which you draw it.
Gary has his own Teferis to go for in this, which are going to be incredibly important as well, along with a few of his own counter spells, Force of Negation, Subtlety, that sort of thing.
Speaking of counter spells, a little Stern Scolding value coming off there. It's a little odd to keep Stern Scolding in against a deck that's playing 7/7s for 2 mana, but it does have a lot of really good targets.
It really does. So we look here. Neither player having any trouble with their mana bases again. We watched Spike get stuck on 2 lands, multiple games. Didn't matter. Still won. But
yeah, I think his deck operates on 1 and 2 mana better than most of the decks in the room. That deck is really cool. I'm a big fan myself of it. In fact, you know what? Thinking about it, if I had more time, that might be the deck I'd play. Yeah. That was like very close to a Delver-ish type strategy, and I'm a big fan of those. So.
Oh, we didn't know. Didn't know about the Delver.
Not everybody does.
Narset's a big deal here. Cutting Gary off of the additional draws from his spells that draw and discard. a very big deal, and Gary doesn't have a great way to get it off the battlefield.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a card that is going to be very impactful in this game. Not to mention that there's a Days Undoing there, though we are going to take the second Narset here. You're seeing that Garrick is really valuing the static ability on the Narset here. If you don't get to draw extra cards,
Wants to make sure he has a backup.
This doesn't stop Atraxa though, right? Atraxa puts the cards into your hand, but it does stop Gristlebrand and stuff like that. You can't use Faithful Mending as well.
Yeah, Faithful Mending and Tainted
Indulgence, I think.
Yeah,
Tainted Indulgence. Yeah.
Neither of them good. Grief here. This exiling a Grief.
Okay, so this is we've already got a Days Undoing in Garrick's hand here, a second Narset. So
and a One Ring.
At some point in time here, we're gonna get to do
hand.
we're going to do the this is what I like to call the commander making its way into constructed. We're gonna wheel, but only one player is gonna get to draw the extra cards. That's gonna be Garrick.
If you're Gary here, what do you take?
I don't know.
Wondering is so hard to beat in a game that goes long at all.
Yeah, I wonder if you just take the Days Undoing and think you can maybe slug through everything else, but the One Ring is going to be hard to slug through as well. I don't think I take the redundant copy of Narset. And then there's, if you're trying to go for something literally right now, maybe you take counters, but it does look like he's going to take Days Undoing because it's the most impactful card, I think.
Can't just discard your whole hand.
You can't discard your whole hand and have Garrick draw 7 new ones. Yeah. You just won't get to play the game.
It's a very important piece for Gary defending his side in this matchup. We'll shut down counter spells. Gary doesn't have any. Doesn't really do anything right now. Yeah, but it also takes away the ability to interact with pasted, Grizzlebrand or Atraxa.
Yeah, absolutely. They do so much work here. Teferi is huge in this matchup. Like you said, forcing through your spells, allowing you to do something to your opponent's end step as well if you want. All kinds of things that can go on here. So both these players with very impactful 3-mana planeswalkers that have statics that are very, very relevant in this game.
Pretty sure we're going to see a One Ring right here. See if Gary has a force. I'm gonna go digging first. Always right. Look at your options before you make your decisions.
Yeah, get the most. Yeah, get the most information possible before we have to make a choice here in Magic. Looks like just a lowly preordained is gonna pull off here, but that's fine. Allows you to keep the cards coming. A lot of card quality, a lot of card quantity here as well, while also leaving up mana to maybe interact. But you still got to get that Teferi off the board because that's going to be a problem as the game goes on. This has gone ahead and rendered that counter spell in his hand useless. So you see, that's why one of the cards that wasn't chosen by Grief because of the fact that it was going to get backed up by a Teferi here.
Preordain your favorite non-brainstorm cantrip?
Yeah, I think that's Oh no. Actually, it's Thought Scour.
Thought Scour. That's fair.
I have an unnatural love. I have an unnatural love for the card Thought Scour. It works so well with Brainstorm. You can't get locked. Yeah.
Yeah. Together, those two go really, really hand in hand.
Oh, there's the one of Rest in Peace, and that is going to get slammed, David, straight into play from Garrick. Huge play for him here. An answer technically in play with the Teferi here, so maybe in the same turn you can bounce the Rest in Peace.
Discard and go for it.
Put something into my graveyard and go for it. He's at the point where he has enough mana to do that. One of the 1 or 2 mana spells to get something in your graveyard. Like you could even go as far as Thought Seize myself, put a Trax in the yard. Yeah.
And give it. And because of the Teferi, you will get the gain life, you'll get multiple draws. See if Teferi can beat a Rest in Peace on the other side. The one of drawn though, that
was huge. This is
huge. Here comes the One Ring.
This is a tournament-winning draw as the day goes on. Like you said, we play so many rounds in this long of a tournament. You have to get lucky somewhere. Skill only takes you so far, and at some point in time, you got to have a fortunate draw here or there. So hitting that one of there, that Rest in Peace, absolutely massive for Garrick.
We were talking about One Ring last round. How do you feel about One Ring in the format?
I think it's fine. Okay. Yeah, I think it's completely fine. I think we're actually at one of the all-time lows of One Ring since it's been printed.
It's only in a couple decks.
Yeah. I think there's a chance it goes back up now that Violent Outburst is gone. We'll see what happens with the meta. And then we've got Modern Horizons 3 on the horizon. Is that 2 on the nose there? Yeah. We've got Modern Horizons 3 coming out in only a few months. And as I like to call it, Modern Rotation is coming up in just a few months. So
you get to replace everything and start over.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I think the ring will still be good.
Yeah.
We've got Jody Keith in the room here this week, and he's playing the Mono White Martyr of Sands deck. It's the best. It's the best ring deck I've ever seen. I watched him pay 8 to a ring. I just didn't care.
The One Ring is one of my favorite designs, probably in the last 10 years. I don't know how I would fix it in non-modern, like if you're talking about playing it in EDH, things like that, sometimes it feels just like it's ever present, it's in every deck, but it's kind of perfectly designed.
I mean, I was supposed to say, isn't that what they kind of wanted when designing the One Ring from Lord of the Rings? Yeah.
I also love that the 1 of 1 ended up in Post Malone's hands where it belonged.
Little Posty getting his hands on the One Ring. I can't wait to see what he does with it. I wonder if he's going to show up somewhere with it, like around his neck or something. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
All right, so Faithful Mending here from Gary. Oh, we're going to try and binding away the Teferi.
So it does look like the Teferi is going to eat the binding here as well. So Gary in a rough spot here. Well, yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, too much power, too much card draw.
There's a little bit of a balk there, but it looked like he was about to pick up his cards and stuff there. So like, just we got the hard lock from Garrett. Now, this is what happens a little bit in Modern. So you see that we got a control deck versus an Esper deck here. And when you think of control, you think of long, grindy games, casting Counterspell, casting Supreme Verdict over and over again. That's not exactly what's going to happen here in this matchup, since it's the Days Undoing one. This is more of a prison type control deck.
Lock you out.
Yeah, and at some point in time, Garrett's just going to be like, this game's over. Like, you don't get to play anymore.
We can keep going. It'll take me a minute to kill you.
Yeah, like we might be here for 10 more minutes, but you were dead all of those 10 minutes. So you get to decide when you pick your cards up. Yeah.
All of the pieces came together for Garrick there. The rest in peace, the Narset, so we could shut down all the draws, and then a way to get Teferi off the board. And
yeah, and Narset doing so much heavy lifting in this matchup. Not only does it help you find the rest in peace or the pieces that you need to interact, we talked about the static ability of it slowing down Gary, kind of like taking his outs almost in half. Like some of the deck no longer works in the way that he wants it to. And then it's also an offensive threat, because if Days Undoing ever resolves, like we saw Gary having to interact with Days Undoing there, if that happens, the game also just ends on the spot mostly.
Yeah, the tale of two games there with Garrick's hand and the way it developed into the cards he needed in the matchup or the cards he didn't need in the matchup.
This is another thing that I love to point out.
Problem.
Absolutely. So another thing I like to point out at the HBMO is like just how happy everybody is to be here. Like, look at the smiles on both guys' faces here. You love seeing the camaraderie between everybody here. I don't know if I've ever seen so many hugs at a Magic event before. Everyone's just loving to be here, supporting a great cause, and playing some great Magic too.
It's really awesome that we have been the first event post-banning back-to-back years. It's been a great time to see some stuff come out of the woodwork that's like, well, maybe I can play this again, because the big bad got taken out of the format.
And Texas players have never been known to be shy.
No.
If they want to play something, they're going to play it. Goro's Vengeance added to Gary's hand there as well.
In the graveyard.
Yeah, it's almost like the deck was built to do that. Like, that was pretty much perfect. Yeah,
impressive.
Just good deck building.
Yeah, the Archaeologist was an interesting addition that when I first saw, I didn't know that it was there. It does exactly what you want it to do.
Yeah, so
it's a roadblock in the aggro matchups.
Yeah, So, okay, as we see, a Force of Negation should be absolutely huge here in stopping the rest in peace. Just yeah, and if you're Garrick, this has got to not feel great, because that you're
go for it there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because like
if you leave in hand, you get griefed or thought seized.
Yeah, you have to protect your cards as much as possible in this matchup, but like you can't really take your time. And this is going to be a turn 3 Atraxa with the unbelievable draw here from Gary. What an opening!
He gets another land. If he has Ephemerate, this game is almost assuredly over, right?
Right, and well, there's the land. It doesn't look... Is there an Ephemerate in this pile?
There is.
Okay, so there is an Ephemerate in the pile.
Yeah.
Looks like that Subtlety, Teferi, Touch the Spirit Realm.
Fetch land.
I love the addition of Touch the Spirit Realm. Not only it helps with his own stuff. He could use it as a removal spell, but it's also another card type that you can get off of Atraxa. And like that's just good deck building. Like little things like that go so far in decks like this, because I want you to count how many cards on average Gary sees a game. It's in the 30 to 40 range.
He saw 40 plus in the last game. He's doing what we talked about. He's gonna fetch, he's gonna Ephemerate, and then Garrick better have
something.
Binding?
Yeah, I was gonna say binding and take care of this Solitude as well.
Before he got hit.
Right.
Teferi bounce. I mean, they can't exactly replay the Atraxa.
Yeah, so here comes Godless Shrine. Gotta just go ahead and shock. Here, make sure the Ephemerate's up. Here comes the attack.
It's funny how many matches the actual life total doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
The presence is the only part that really matters.
Yeah, this is more when you're dead, you're very, very dead.
Yeah.
Here we go. We have another Atraxa trigger. I mean, this is what, the 5th or 6th Atraxa trigger of this match?
Yes.
Right.
Plus we got multiple draws off of a Grizzlebrand.
Now for this one, this is going to be another really good one too here. It's hard for them not to be good, but I see a Planeswalker, I see an instant, I see a creature, I see a land.
Yeah,
again, some of those
4.
amazing basics.
Oh, 5. There's a Thoughtseize there too.
There's a sorcery, okay. So it looks like Grief, Thoughtseize, Teferi.
We'll pick a land. And then Tainted. Yeah.
Tainted.
Atraxa.
And so I think what Gary's doing here is he's trying to figure out exactly how many cards and then what he's going to pitch here as well. What he's going to want to go to the graveyard when he has to go to the cleanup step here at the end of the game.
He wants Grief so that he can make sure that this Atraxa doesn't die and then the game ends unless the top deck is really good.
Yeah, Grief is another great one here because he's going to be able to do this turn as you're kind of alluding. Yeah. And if there is something like a sorcery speed removal spell here or something that Garrick hasn't been able to deploy just yet, he's going to be able to take that from him. It doesn't look like turn 3.
Turn 3.
This is legacy level stuff here.
Over.
Yeah. All right, so the hand is is there a Solitude with no white card? Is that what it is?
Card.
All right, so he's gonna take this. He's gonna take the Solitude.
Both cards.
Yep.
With both the Griefs.
I think is that 3 lands that are left over now? I think the top card is.
I believe that's a polluted Delta, and the other 2 are.
Yeah, it's either a Delta or an island. I think it's a Delta. Yep. So good eyes. Good eyes, sniper. Oh, okay. Well, I think we might have had a big top deck. Garrick with the little head nod. What was this? Wait, okay, maybe it wasn't. So we got an island.
He looks like it was.
Yeah, that was the head nod of somebody that got real lucky.
Yeah.
All right, so
the Ephemerate bounced the Atraxa.
No, this is on the Alchemist.
Oh, it's on the Alchemist. You're right, because he wants to attack with the Atraxa. Yeah. He has enough cards.
He has enough cards already.
He's sculpted.
Yeah, it still finds a card. It still fills up the graveyard. So Garrick gonna go down to 5 here. Curious life total. Gary up to 31.
31's enough.
The life total's not gonna matter really for Gary Wong. When he loses, the game's just going to be over. Okay, so here's a Teferi. There's Counter Spell.
Okay.
For Teferi. Okay, so Garrick, top of the deck needs to be real good right now.
Verdict?
Well, another little Ushka look. All right.
A little look.
He's doing very good at hiding it. Oh, you can add, okay. So this needs to be a Solitude then. Yep, looks like it's going to be it. And Gary showing what it takes to be a 2-time HBMO champion here. What a draw here.
3. That's unbelievable. I love the winner. I don't know if you know.
I mean, this looks like some Street Fighter 2 stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we need to get the little pose. Yeah. You know, absolutely.
We can get them to pose every time.
Oh, he actually did right when the camera was going away. We got a little bit of a thumbs up. Great match from Gary there. I'd be giving him a thumbs up after those draws as well.
So we're lucky enough to have a backup match that we're going to go to. So we're going to get to look at a second match that happened here in round 2.
Oh, a lot more Magic. It sounds like we're going to be going into game 2 of this match as well. So we're going to be jumping into this match in progress. Love getting the overtime Magic. It's always nice to get as much as possible because if all the matches are as good as that one was right there, we're in for a treat today.
So we're catching up with Connor Cole, who is close with Gary, probably playing an identical 75. They were arguing over 4 sideboard spots last night. And Brent Wagner playing Amulet Titan. Looks like Titan took game 1.
And someone that I'm actually close with, Brent Wagner and I are actually really good friends, go far back. He edits my podcast.
Oh.
Also, and here's the thing. That's not the one thing I want to talk about. I'm hell of a Magic player. Brent can play. And the thing about Brent is he always either plays an off the beaten path deck, like something a little strange, or he plays the big brain deck, like the very difficult. And you see it here with Amulet Titan. He's going to be playing the deck that I don't know if you've ever like goldfished this deck. When I look at the opening hand, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Amulet Titan is the only deck I have built. And the first time I played it, I had never played it. And I went and played in a big event and I didn't know what I did for 3 rounds. I still won on accident a couple times.
Oh, that's the deck, yeah.
It goes.
Yeah. Oops, I win, yeah.
Connor Cole is a DFW local, GP top 8 competitor.
Hell of a player as well. This is another really good matchup of 2 great magicians.
Wearing a retro Spurs hat that I really appreciate.
Yeah, not a big Spurs fan, but okay.
I mean, me either. And the fact that they got Wemby, we're not going to talk about
the second big fundamental.
So
don't get me started on sports, David.
This is probably a 75 card match of what Gary was playing. If we look at the Amulet Titan deck, not a whole lot has changed over the years except for the One Ring.
Right.
So, again.
So I've joked about this before, the Amulet. It's a deck that it's really strange, right? When you look at the deck list, there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. It does a whole bunch of nonsense that normal decks don't do. But my favorite part about it is like there's the Amulet like cabal. You know, there's the groups of like it's mostly the Canadians that are really on the cutting edge of this deck and do really well with it. Anytime a new set comes out, some card comes out in the set that was never meant to be in this deck or made for this, and they're just like, "Yep, it broke Amulet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play 3 of this card. My deck's just awesome." And it seems like every set we get another one. You know, like they got the land that can copy artifacts. It's really, really helped them out a lot. You know, they've adopted the One Ring.
The interesting thing for me in this list as I look at it is the sideboard cards. Yasharn has made its way back into the sideboard.
That's not one I expect to see.
Didn't expect to see that one. And Generous Int. I didn't even know what that was until just now looking at it.
Oh yeah, that's a sweet one. That one you normally saw in Living End, a deck that we might not see at all this weekend because of the banning that happened. But really cool card. Absolutely love all the land cycling creatures from Lord of the Rings. Huge fan of all of them, and they're going to be ubiquitous. We're going to see those in Magic for quite a while.
Absolutely.
So we have Brent here. A Urza Saga has made its way to the graveyard. Searched up. That is a Amulet of Vigor.
Bounce land.
Okay, yeah, bounce land happening here on a Valakut. So he had a very slow start from Brent here, but now we're really cooking. So we've got Amulet of Vigor along with Gruul Turf, allowing him to put a One Ring into play. So the One Ring trigger has happened.
Turn 3 One Ring.
Yep. So this is pretty good. This actually matters against Connor's deck quite a bit because Connor can't attack him with the creatures from Goryo's Vintage. So it looks like we're gonna have just a pass here.
Yeah, we just saw Gary basically win on turn 3, and now Connor couldn't go for that if he wanted to.
Don't know if he had it or not, but yeah. Absolutely. Like the One Ring is going to do a lot of work here in this match.
I feel like the One Ring did a lot that Amulet was missing in the non-explosive kill you on turn 3 draws. It just kind of dirtled, and there's never been a better dirtle card.
Yeah. This one's really good at dirtling. Yeah, this one's really good at playing the long game. Titan players are really good at utilizing every piece of the Buffalo. You know, like their whole deck does a whole bunch of awesome stuff, and it's just a math problem at all times. With, you know, it's every single turn you're having to do so much math, so many permutations of numbers. It's probably why I can't play the deck. I only have 10 fingers, so I just lose track of everything that I can do as this goes on.
That's
but
why I like it. It's just math.
Yeah, Brent has I don't like math. Brent has a much bigger brain than I do, so this helps a lot. And
Brent's gonna pump up and draw a couple extra. He's looking at like 9 cards in hand right now.
Yeah, if you like having players have more than 7 cards in their hand, this is the match for you. Yeah, it's gonna happen a lot. Brent's going to be picking up his own permanents a lot. He's going to be activating the ring a ton. Connor's going to draw 14 in one turn because this is another matchup where his life total doesn't really matter. When he's dead, he's just dead.
Yeah, he can kill you from 20, kill you from 2.
Yeah, Primeval Titan can do some messed up stuff.
All right, looks like a Triome.
Actually,
the Valakut.
No, I think that's the one that gives you a mana when it comes into play. Or is that a Mirror Pod? I can't tell with the glare.
It might be a Mirror Pool.
I think it's Crumbling Visage, actually.
Oh, yeah. Hardest part of the job.
Yep.
Yeah, Crumbling Vestige. So it adds a mana and then it untaps and taps for a mana.
Yep, there we go. Crumbling Vestige.
Okay.
Big shout out to the production crew back there.
Incredible.
Doing all the great work. Valakut's going to come into play, tapped, and then get untapped by the Amulet of Vigor. So tons of mana here for Brent this turn.
Amulet of Vigor was definitely made as like a meme. Like, oh, this will be fun. I don't think they had any idea what they were doing.
So when they made it, yeah, I think they were like, this is cool. Someone will have fun. Someone at their kitchen table is going to have a blast with this card. And then the big brain Canadians and a bunch of other players were like, actually. And then Summer Bloom got banned. You know, that's why it's on the list.
Summer Bloom ended up getting
Well, if you like turn 2 kills, Summer Bloom was really good at it.
All right, so it looks like we're going to put a Solitude and a Force into the graveyard.
Yep, Goryo's Vengeance into hand here.
Crack.
Esper Reanimator, a deck probably that's really loving these new Surveil lands quite a bit. Like we've seen them happen a ton here in Modern. Just being able to fetch them because the fact that they are land types, so huge in this format. I've seen so many little things popping up here or there that are huge. One of my favorite plays with them so far that I've seen is someone got attacked with a Ragavan and someone had a fetch land. They're like, all right, well, before the trigger, I'm going to fetch up a Surveil land. I'm going to see the top card of my deck is, you can have this one.
That one.
Yeah, I don't want this card. So
in response to the fetch, it looks like Brent knows what's coming, right? So he's gonna go search a Bajuka Bog. Is that what
is that a surgical?
That maybe made that.
Well, this is game 2. So
Sage defense.
what's the sideboard here? Oh, this is a hold on, give me a second. Is it turn the earth? Yeah, he's just turn the earth.
Oh yeah, turn the earth.
So he's got Brent also known for playing the wildest versions of all the cards. His deck always super foil, super great. This was it double feature where the cards were blacked out almost. those are a nightmare for coverage, but a really cool product.
It does look like a surgical. That is definitely a turn the earth, though. Very smart to go when he fetched.
I was just gonna say, I think that's a green card, as much as it looks like this. Yeah.
Very, very smart to go with the fetch. He knew the cards that were in the graveyard and the vengeance at hand. The question I have is, why not wait for him to waste the Goryo's vengeance?
That's a good question. I'm sure Brent.
He's going to get you either way.
Yeah, I'm sure Brent has a reason for this.
I'm sure he does. I don't know. He's the master. I'm not. So Connor instead going to go for Faithful Mending. Sweet card. The gain life, helping in the aggro matchups. It's just really well designed.
Yeah, it might buy you that extra turn versus like Zoo or Domain. Yeah. And
he's gonna instantly go for it.
Yeah, it looks like Goryo's Vengeance on Atraxa. Brent not happy about this one.
No. Another Vengeance, a Grief, a Solitude.
His own Surgical Extraction here that we talked about. And this is what makes this deck so good, is the fact that, we saw this really well highlighted last round, or during the last games that we were watching, is the Atraxa turns, it's not just, I'm going to put these cards in my hand and attack you for 7. More stuff is going to keep happening. They're going to evoke a Grief or something like that, because they've got all these extra cards anyway. They might as well get some value out of it. So you're getting attacked, your hand's getting attacked. They're drawing 5 extra cards. This is so hard to deal with, and you can see why so many people were excited about this deck. Even pre-ban, they were starting to say this might be the best deck in Modern.
How do you feel about the fact that not all of the pitch elementals are here? I feel like they should either all be okay or that none of them should be okay.
Well, I mean, it's really funny. I remember when it first came out, everybody's like, immediately, I remember people talking about Grief's going to get banned, and then we went months and months and months where Grief wasn't very good.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, well, maybe Grief is actually the problem. I'm a fan of like Fury not being around because it just stagnates too many creature decks, but Grief is really hard to deal with too. I think the other ones are pretty well balanced, as much as it is.
Yeah, no one's ever complained about the green one.
Yeah, I mean,
the blue one.
I've been a long time Splinter Twin kind of hater. Everyone wants Splinter Twin back, because here's the one thing I do talk about. What are you gonna do in this format against a white deck, even when they're tapped out and Solitude exists? You want to go for Splinter Twin? Good luck.
Oh, come on, we'll just have Spike come up with all of that proof.
Yeah.
And little cards we all forgot existed.
A million dive downs. Yeah. Seems like you get one of those in every set now too.
Are those the all?
It's the all text lands. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about our favorite lands. Those are my least favorite lands ever.
Another one that's printed as a meme and just
Connor Cole loves his memes, so I'm not surprised. But I hate that.
Yeah, see, I'm just a simple man. Just give me beta.
Yeah, just give me beta.
Yeah, just looks real simple.
He doesn't ask for a lot, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, so we've picked our, I think it was 5 cards drawn there, or put into hand.
Sure.
Assume we're gonna get a Grief here.
Yeah, Connor might not be done. He's still got a fetch here. A couple other things he could do.
Yeah, the One Ring happened fast, but it was overall a very slow draw out of Amulet.
It's Grief. I think that is that Elish Norn? I think that's Mommy.
That's an Elish Norn.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, Brent making it really difficult on us here. So it looks like 3 lands, 4 spells. One of them is definitely Elish Norn. I think that's a Primeval Titan at the bottom.
I think that's Titan on the bottom. I believe you're right.
And then the other 2 are the same card. They're more Turn the Earth. Okay.
Turn the Earth. He just didn't have another green.
I almost had it right. I was about to guess Turn the Earth just because it looks like it's the blacked out card.
Yeah, Brent's mana was just so awkward. He had triple Turn the Earth. Like, he was in a perfect situation to stop Connor, and he's just this Valakut has really put him in a bind.
100%. It makes me wonder about the hand that he kept. He probably kept a hand that had 1 or 2 Turn the Earth in it early, and he's like, I can't mulligan this hand because it has a way to get Amulet. Maybe he already had the Titan. He has the Turn Earth, and then drew another one. He's like, deck, I only needed 1, maybe 2 of these. I didn't need all of them.
It's extra upsetting as the only deck that feels like it plays enough lands in all of Modern is Amulet.
Yep.
The Esper decks are running 21.
Well, how many
one's running 17 or 18?
I usually ran 17, but I was a little nuts. Yeah. And here's the funny part: you never miss a land drop.
No, never. And Brent has 28, and he's just stuck with this Valakut mess.
I mean, with that deck, it's a little different too. I mean, you're the most of them are important. You're the most massively aggressively mulliganing deck in the history of Magic. I think my average, like when I played that deck competitively, I think my average hands I was like 5.25.
Yeah. They also have just tons of utility inside of their lands as well. Like it is a very different deck. But
every card either kills you or draws another card. Yeah, or finds lands. Yeah.
Seeing the 28 land deck struggle with his colors against the 21 land deck.
Yeah, it always surprised me when I'd play against this deck or like lands and legacy and they miss a land drop. I'm like, wait, what? Like, that's all your deck is. Like, do you have the land count for Brent? How many he's playing?
28.
Yeah, he's played 28, so half his deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, yeah, because like he's got 28 lands, and that's not counting the 4 Urza Sagas.
Yeah.
So
He's 32
we're
we're
looking at over half the deck are technically lands here.
You saw them.
So the Titan went away.
Looks like we have a surgical here as well.
On the Titans.
I was about to say I didn't see what the target was. Because I think Brent and Connor know each other, right? Just from this area. So they're to go through this, talk it through. Brent's like, yeah, I don't have any surprises here. You know what's going on here.
You know the deck.
Yeah, it looks like it is the Primeval Titan because I think that was taken by the Grief. So this is going to cut Brent's outs by a massive amount here.
I think that was his only out. Another Wondering would buy time.
Yep.
I think there's still Cultivator Colossus in his deck that he might be able to win with. You know, Elish Norn is a great one too. We did talk about this. That one's huge in this matchup. It stops Atraxa.
He's got a Valakut. He doesn't have enough lands for Dryad to do anything though.
Yeah, that's a much longer game plan.
But yeah, he's under so much pressure. Doesn't have a good answer to Atraxa, and now doesn't have his I win button to draw.
Exactly. If there's a way to win from here, which there are a few, Brent's going to know all of them.
But he's only got 2 or 3 turns to figure it out.
Speaking of memes, I think of the Charlie Day one, where he's in front of the board and all the numbers and the strength. That's what's going on at Brent right now. He's trying to figure out, all right, so I don't have the first 37 permutations of the way to win in my deck. What's option 84B?
All right, Saga was the draw. Not what he was looking for, but 3 more cards.
Yeah, One Ring doing the One Ring things. Brent is very tempted. He's burdened.
It did tempt him.
He's burdened with glorious purpose this round to draw as many cards as he can off the One Ring.
Yeah, he really does not want you to be able to read his cards.
It's
It's an Explorer.
I believe that's an Explorer. Yeah.
Oh, he's counting.
Okay. All right, so we have 2 more land drops this turn, right? We haven't made a land drop yet.
I think that's a Dryad.
We do have an Amulet in play. If they're both bounce lands, we can make quite a bit of mana here.
Yep.
If you find a Dryad, you could play a bounce land, play the Dryad, play 2 more lands after that.
And then those would both shoot.
If he has a second Amulet, here he could actually cast anything in his deck. Yeah, so I see a Gruul Turf at the front of his hand here. And I think that's a Dryad of the Legion Grove as well.
I'm pretty sure the Dryad was the last card to draw. It's currently, after the Gruul Turf, it's the bottom card. All right.
All right, so float a mana, play the Gruul Turf, trigger Amulet, untap Gruul Turf. Replay this. All right, so now we've played 2 lands. Make a mana off the Visage. So these are technically bounce lands as well here now because when it comes to play, it makes a mana and then you get to untap it and make a mana. All right, so how much mana is this now? Okay, so we have a mana floating now.
Second floating from the Crumbling Visage.
Yeah.
And then access to 4 more currently. So up to 6 right now without.
So you play the Dryad of the Elysian Grove. All right. You play the Dryad of Elysian Grove, you go from... You tap the Gruul Turf to play the Dryad of Elysian Grove, right? So then you have no mana floating, but then you can play another land.
Oh, there's 2 floating, so he only has to tap one of the 1 mana ones.
Right, so now he's at 5.
6. 2 floating, plus 2, plus 1/1. Something that costs 6.
I think that's the Elish Norn that we were talking about earlier. All right, Ephemerate on Traxa in response, so we can get the come into play trigger. Because if Elish Norn gets into play, no more come into play triggers for Connor, which is most of his deck. It'll be Gristle. Oh boy, is that a subtlety?
Yeah.
And you see the wry grin from both. Like Brit is like, Brit's like, come on, man. Yeah, I got to believe the subtlety is going to be the first choice immediately going into the hand here. So all right, the land is going to be the Polluted Delta. It looks like okay. Or, I'm sorry, the Marsh Flats.
Subtlety's going to be the creature.
I love Force of Negation as well.
Yeah.
This Esper deck is so sweet.
It's very good. Very resilient. It has enough cards now that both draw and discard. It gets to play Thoughtseize and Grief. Like, sweet. It's very sweet.
You're playing like 12 2 mana, draw some cards, discard some stuff.
Yep.
You have the 8 instant ones, then you have the creature as well. That
12 and 2 plus Thoughtseize, which in a pinch does what it needs to do.
yeah, I've thought seized myself many a times in these kind of
Absolutely.
decks. You just shrug and you're like, me. Target me.
And now we're going to Subtlety, the Elish Norn, and I would assume that's the writing on the wall. Brent has one more land drop currently.
Yeah, I wonder. So he can like survive a turn of getting hit, but like he'll have to do all this all over again next turn. Does he have another bounce land? I think he has another bounce land in his hand, right? I think we saw a second Gruul Turf, but both of them are in play. So does he have another one from here? All right, so it looks like he's going to use the mana and turn to Earth immediately. He's going to take the Faithful Mending.
Yep.
Take away some avenue from Connor.
Has flashback.
It does.
As well.
I lost 2 from this. Yeah.
They should just give us Faithful Fluting back. That would probably be fine, right?
We probably need to get rid of a few other cards if we do that. Any of the ones that say the word dredge on them kind of worry me, but
Yeah. It seems like we're going to end up getting a game 3 here. Brent's not entirely dead, but if I were a betting man, and I am.
well, actually, I think it looks like Connor won game 1.
Moving from the deck might be better. So
1-0 to the left, Brent, right?
Yeah, they're both
they're-
1-0 in matches. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Looks like Connor won game 1. I just
all good.
read our
good.
tweet coverage.
This is a new one for you. We got a
Yeah,
new
this is
overlay for
different.
you this year, so we kind of
They've been great.
we did this just to mess you up, David. I actually put it in the show notes. It's like make sure we
Make sure
change as
David
much
gets
possible.
confused.
Yeah, make sure David gets confused. It's the free space on the bingo card for this weekend.
worked out.
All right, so we're still on Brent's turn. I think.
Going to plan.
Yeah, so he's passing
We're
over
passing
now.
to Connor.
Upkeep, Ephemerate, Philology.
Connor decides to blink the 2/2 instead of the Atraxa.
Yeah, at this point you don't need to blink the Atrax again. You
No,
actually just want to
just
start
wanna
killing
kill
Brent
your
as quickly
opponent.
as possible. Plus,
14.
doing this with the other creature, it still does the same purpose. Like you're still filling up the graveyard. We're still drawing a card off it, most likely.
Bring that hard cast Grief here. Oh no, Prismatic Ending on the One Ring,
13, so why is he going to 19?
because there is a little bit of red mana in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was
For this
actually
purpose.
I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, why do we have Blood Crypt in here? Because red is the only color not on Atraxa. And then I was like, oh wait, we have Prismatic Ending in the deck, and this is just good deck building, giving you the third color.
Fourth color.
Oh, sorry, the fourth color. Again, I can't count. We talked about this. I only have so many fingers.
I wonder if there's also like an Overgrown Tutor and Temple Garden in there to get the 5th, just in case. 4's probably enough. There's very few things at 5 that you want to ending, but
I mean, I wouldn't mind having the option to hard cast Atraxa with this deck
Also
if
true.
like someone surgicals Goryo's
There's a
Vengeance or
Rest in
something.
Peace
Where there's a
that
rest in peace.
you
That's a
can
good
get rid
point.
of.
Yeah, just having the backdoor out of being able to do that.
Brent back in the tank. Currently has 6 mana in play.
Just so you know, Amulet Titan players always in the tank.
Always in the
That's
tank.
their secret, David. They're always in the tank.
I'm always in the tank. So the Dryad becomes a threat as we get up to a 5th land and then 6th land off of Dryad. And enough to kill an Atraxa.
Oh yeah, there are turns where Brent could really go nuts. I think he's a couple turns away from that for now. So first
He needs
and
to live
foremost,
another
he
turn.
needs to survive the next 2 turns. So he needs to do something like that and start setting up being able to win from there. It looks like okay. Explorer is a really good start.
I don't know what that art is. I just love how that shines.
I wonder if that's one of the new ones.
Deck
Yeah,
later.
I forgot the. It's like is that the it's whatever one had the confetti. I think is what it's called. It's confetti foils. I think that's from there.
It honestly looks like it's on the sleeve.
The sleeve, yeah. But
Explorer's a good start. Bonus land drop goes a long way. If
Yeah, I
he
think-
finds a second amulet. I don't think mana is his problem though. The only big thing he has left to play is the Colossus. I think his best path to victory lies in
Valakut.
Dryad and Valakut.
Yeah, maybe he's a little worried. So he's getting stressed on 2 points of the Dryad too. The longer he leaves it in his hand, the more likely he gets thought seized or griefed. But if you put it into play, then it can get hit by some of the removal spells as well. So we'll see how he wants to thread the needle of putting Dryad into play. So here, now we have a ton of mana. Urza Saga came into play along with a Forest. It's the most normal card in Brent's deck.
And another One Ring. That buys a turn.
This buys a lot of turns. Actually, it's going to keep from getting attacked. It's going to get some extra cards into Brent's hand. You know, we kind of wrote him off. I think Brent is starting to make.
Yeah,
It's uphill.
He's starting to turn the corner, though. He looked very, very. He just five
right away. Look, he's turning the corner, and as he's turning the corner, it's just a straight vertical line.
Yeah.
Straight up. You've got to go way up the hill here, but Brent's doing what he has to do to get there.
Yeah, Connor really wanted a force right there. He wasn't able to take it because he took the. What did he take over force? He took the ephemerate that he needed.
Yeah, to make sure that the attracts stay in play. It was a kill you quicker kind of thing. Which
Great choice. But.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get this game like when you're ahead against Amulet, you want to get the game over with as quickly as possible because they like just watch Brent play this game. Mm-hmm. You know, he's going to figure out the 37th line. Yeah. And kudos to Brent too for not just giving up when you know
it looked over. That's why he's playing. We're over here. So no point in attacking with the One Ring protection up. That's it. The fact that you can like blink the protection over and over again, or that part of it is hard to play against for sure.
Yeah, one of the easiest ways to get rid of your own ring is playing a second copy of it, legend rolling it, and then getting the protection yet again.
Yeah, so Brent has pulled out a second prismatic ending. You talked about having to protect the Dryad. Connor only plays 4 endings as removal.
Yeah, and I think this is the turn where it'll start triggering as well. So maybe this is the turn you finally see him deploy the Dryad, because leaving it in play for multiple turns when it's not doing anything, not the best play that you guys are making here, but you have to weigh that versus, you know, Thoughtseize and Grief as well and how you want to protect it. And I expect Brent to thread that needle better than I would. Okay, so another land into play.
And here comes your Colossus.
I think this is the Dryad. All right, so this makes 1, 2, 3, 6. So 7 lands are in play right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's Handwear Battlements as well, making it to play here. So it looks like 3 is going to go upstairs to Connor Cole. It's going to put him at 15.
Interesting to go. I guess he only had the one.
Yeah, he only has 1 trigger, so
this turn.
Yeah, he needs another
he needs a bounce land.
Yeah, he needs another massive explore bounce land turn. Yeah.
He's got 4 cards in hand. I don't currently know any of them.
Yeah, here comes another attack from Atraxa, taking half of Brent's life total.
Can't be considering blocking, right? 7. Okay, no, he takes it. I guess if you had another, you could just use one as a speed bump.
Yeah, Connor back up to 22 here. That life total getting kind of out of range of, you know, 1 or 2 Valakut triggers a turn, but
yeah. Trex has flying anyway. You can't block it.
He need that pesky little 0-3 to show up that has reach for some reason.
Why does it have reach?
Why does it block Ragavan and Flyers? I don't understand. All right, looks like we're going to make a construct here at the end of turn as well. Another way that he could possibly win if he could deal with enough of the stuff in play that he can start attacking with very large constructs.
I'm gonna make another one.
Yeah, and what do we? Okay, amulet. So here's where this could get interesting. I'm assuming he's another amulet unless there's a. I was gonna say I don't know exactly his build. He might have something cool that he can go get here for this matchup, but he makes a second construct here as well. That's important. But yeah, he's gonna get another amulet here, and if Brent has a bounce land and a few other things, there's a chance that he could go crazy here this turn with Cultivator Colossus, give it haste.
He
do all kinds of stuff.
Like a Soul Guide Lantern as a one-of in the sideboard to go get with his Urzus.
Yeah, well, he's playing the turn to Earths instead. Yeah,
I feel like having one.
See, this one. I think Brent knew that Esper Reanimator was going to be this popular here this weekend, and he wanted something that was much faster.
Yeah. We talked last round about how slow Soul Guide Lantern is as an answer.
It's amazing that it's slow, but that's just the speed of this format. You know, we've seen people do absurd things in turn 2 with Esper Reanimator. And if you have a sorcery speed thing, it's not even good enough because they do it at the end of your turn and then untap and, you know, go off.
All right, so we're going to haste.
Yeah, haste the construct that came into play this turn. I think they are, what, 4/4s?
I think they are 4/4.
Yeah, they look like they're 4/4s right now because that ring isn't in play anymore.
Why aren't we blocking with the Atraxa?
Unsure. Maybe just playing it safe. Doesn't want to let anything happen to the 7/7 flyer if the worst case scenario happens.
Man, maybe.
All right, so this is a bounce. I think that's a Selesnya, the green-white one. The name escapes me.
Solitude's in response.
Yeah, this looks like Solitude response on the Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
It's a big deal.
Is this enough to finally put the nail in the coffin for Brent Wagner, who's put up a hell of a fight for how bad this game went for him early? It looks like we're gonna have some responses from Brent here.
Yeah, I guess Connor had to be afraid of like Unholy Heat or something killing off the Atraxa.
Looks like that is an Otawara picking up his own Dryad of the Elysian Groves in response.
Oh, that one.
So still not in play to deal any more damage, but at least no longer gone.
All right, now we're resolving the Amulet triggers here. So it's going to pick up another bounce land.
I incorrectly said Connor only had Prismatic as removal. He obviously has Solitude.
Yeah, and so this is a new Dryad of Elysian Grove, by the way. So this means I believe he gets to play. He gets to play another extra land off the same Dryad of Elysian Grove here.
Yep.
He's going to go ahead and use the Valakut trigger to kill the Solitude. And he still has a ton of mana here. There's a bunch of mana floating here right now if he has anything else. But I don't know if he does have anything else. Now here's the thing.
2 cards.
He's at 7, but he has green mana. I think there's a turn to earth in the graveyard, so he can gain 2 life off of that and extend this game by another turn.
Yep.
And then we'll have to see what happens next turn. He might have a couple crazy things he can do because he's gonna be able to play extra lands. He's got another that Gruul Turf in his hand. Connor's at 17. He's gonna go to 24 here. I don't know if he can do that much. Okay, it looks like he's gonna go ahead and do this now, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and do it now.
figuring out why he didn't block is actually kind of obvious when you think about the 3 damage off of the. He was worried about another one being able to get him, which is exactly what have happened if he blocked.
Right.
Instead of the Solitude dying, the Atraxa would have died. So Connor played it better than I would have in the same situation. This is an interesting spot. The gain life on the Turn the Earth is not
Very relevant.
for this matchup, but it's very relevant right now.
Yeah, usually that's just
Brent's alive. At this
Yeah,
point.
that's just extra. It's extra icing on the cake for him. He just wanted a 1 mana interact with your graveyard,
Instant
and then
speed.
have flashback as well, so you can keep doing it. Because one time against this deck is not enough. You have to interact with them so many times because they just draw half their deck every game.
Favorite flashback card of all time.
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe Silent Departure.
Moment's Peace.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's very, very easy for me. Very easy for me. Think twice.
Think Twice is a great one. Moment's
Think
Peace.
Moment's Peace is a good one too. It's a very annoying one.
Double Flog? That's
Yeah.
not fair.
Those decks were never fun to play against.
They were so fun to play.
Okay, you and I have differing opinions on what is fun. You're one of those people. So, fun is a zero-sum thing, and you like to have all of
I
it in
like
the
that.
Magic. Yeah,
I cut my teeth playing Pox.
Sure.
Only I get to have fun.
yeah. I want us to have a little bit. I want my opponent to have at least a tiny bit of it.
All right, so that 2 life leaves Brent at 2. Connor's at a comfy 24. Atraxa facing down Dryad. 1 bonus land lets the Atraxa die to the Dryad here.
We also have another Urza Saga on 2 here, so more constructs are coming. Brent is putting up a hell of a fight here. Like I said, he's the kind of player, he's not going to give up. He's going to be able to find the extra ways to win when your plan A, B, and C have all been taken from you. Here we go, another Dryad of Elysian Grove, and you see Connor kind of you see Connor kind of sit back here. This is a little scary.
This is a frustrating game to lose for Connor. It looks like he's about to lose.
Okay,
1
so
bounce land is going to turn into 3 shots
Yep.
into the Atraxa. The constructs are going to be 5/5s.
yeah, I was just. I don't know if he can. I don't think he can kill him
No,
this
he can
turn.
deal 17 this turn.
So, the thing is like he's gonna be able to make another construct and give it
Give
haste.
it haste. That's 15 plus 2 from the Dryad.
This is close. I haven't done all the math, but he's walking him through it. Brent's going through all of it, and I see Connor kind of like, yeah. I'm not happy about this. Okay, there you go. Walks through all of it. The Atraxa is now
Needed to
dead.
Ephemerate really badly there.
Yeah, give haste to. I guess he give haste to the Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Is what it looked like.
Yeah, he did.
That doesn't mean. So say, has he already picked up the lands for the turn for the Gruul Turf? Could he like pick up the battlements and do that again?
I think he did. I think he just bounced a Gruul Turf over and over again, basically.
Yep. All right. Well, here comes the Solitude.
I can't stop it.
Kill one of these. Now here's another problem.
Kill 1, block 1, I believe,
Yeah.
is the.
Well, I was going to say Brent's at 2.
Yeah.
So he's gonna gain. Yeah, he's gonna get. So I think it's what Connor's trying to figure out, if he can kill something and then kill Brent on the way back. The problem is Brent's gonna gain a lot of life here.
Maybe you just don't kill anything.
Can you survive though if you do that? Yeah, you definitely
don't
can.
die.
Yeah.
Maybe you just play it.
I don't know if it's a May. I haven't read Solitude if it's a May, like if it says up to 1. I think we can check on that here in just a second. But maybe Connor's thinking about that. But I think he's actually just gonna go ahead and take one of the Dryads, because I don't know if you can let Brent keep making
It's real
this many
dangerous
lineups.
to leave them in play for sure.
So I will go to 4. Yep.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be casting Solitude here. You'd be doing it in the end step when you can't play another
It's
land.
Up to 1, so he
Could have, yeah. But all right, this is going to go ahead and kill a Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Brent's going to go to 4, I believe, here. So that's, again, not lethal.
Not quite.
I'd rather have a blocker. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Pass. We're turn 1 now. Yep.
Hell of a match here.
Yep.
We just talk about the showdown between bald and long flowing hair too. I got to go on the bald side.
Yeah, of course you do. Bald's beautiful, baby.
Connor, leave the Solitude back.
Yeah, I mean,
Brent smartly left himself the blocker.
he might die this turn.
Yeah.
Like, Connor might die this turn because Brent's going to make a 4th construct here. He's going to have a Valakut trigger to remove the blocker.
Yeah. Brent thought about the fact that Solitude could kill him. Didn't make the construct the way that you or I might have. And then had it. So Connor knew that he had to get rid of the Dryad instead of trying to go for the win.
So here comes the 4th construct. That's going to have haste from the Hanwer battlements.
They're all 6/6.
Or Hanwer garrison. They're going to be 7/7s.
7/7s.
So if he removes the blocker here, I mean, even through the blocker, I think this is going to be lethal.
Connor needs an Ephemerate or another Solitude.
He needs a lot of things, yeah. If you're Brent, I think you got to go for it here with the way the last couple turns have played out. Yep, there we go. Haste on the new one.
Just go.
Send in the clowns. Yeah, I think Brent's just double checking here. He's like, can I, how do I lose from here? Yeah, okay, I think what he's saying is I'm not. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he was checking. Okay, so there's the Solitude.
Yep.
So that's going to kill a construct, block another one. So I don't think Connor's actually. Okay, well there we go. He killed the Dryad. That's actually good
so he's
too.
not dead.
He's gonna get to block 2 of them.
Gain 6.
Yep. Yeah. He's gonna lose both of his Solitudes.
Yeah, it's gonna end up at 6.
He can't keep one here, right? Like if he blocks 1, he still takes 21.
Yeah, no, he can't.
Yeah. So he has to double block. He has to block twice.
No, that's way more than 15. Oh, that's lethal.
We don't know what else Connor has in his hand here, because I think he still has at least a card left.
Yeah, he has at least 1 card face down in front of him.
Yeah, so it does look like the blocks. So it's take 14, gain 6.
I can
so
tell you
like
what it's not. It's not an Ephemerate.
It's definitely not an
Orioles
Ephemerate.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah, so I
14,
think
gain
so
6, end up
it's
at
take
6.
8. Yeah. Burton goes up to 6 off the trigger from the Solitude.
Solitude.
It looks like a subtlety, a land, and is that a grief? I can't tell.
You got turns?
Connor looks a little frustrated about this game. Yeah, he's just like, oh, it's a surgical strike. Okay.
Tough game to
Yep.
lose.
And
And we're gonna go to game 3.
I think we're gonna go to game 3. I was gonna say the way they're acting, it looks like it feels like the match is over. Okay. Or maybe. Oh, it's a draw. They've actually run out of time. So Britain with a hard-fought draw here in this last game, and this is an early leader in the clubhouse for favorite game of the day for me.
Sure.
Getting your Titans taken away from you that early, and then, like I said, Brent's not the kind of guy who's going to give up. He's going to bunker down. He's going to be like, how do I win from here? What, he had 3 lands, I think, what had happened, and ended that game with, like, what, 10?
He played very well. Connor got pretty unlucky over the course of the game.
Yeah.
But, if you're going to win a tournament, you got to get lucky.
Yeah, so in those situations, that's the thing that I talk about a lot, where if you can't win from that, I mean, if you can't lose from that spot, if there's something you can't play around that stuff anymore, right? If you're in that spot, you're like, I can't win anymore. If this happens, whatever. I have to play as if that doesn't exist. I'm just going to play to win from here instead of playing not to lose.
Identifying when you can't play around things and playing to win instead of playing not to lose are big things for any Magic player to pick up. Before we get around to round 3, we're going to be going to an interview with one of our other commentators, Daquan, and we will be back probably Tannen and Hal for round 3 in just a little while. Once again, I'm David Palmer. This is Tannen Grace. We're at the Hunter Burton Memorial Open here in Hurst, Texas. And if you're thinking about whether you should come out, you should come out.
Definitely should.
See y'all soon.
All right, so some of you may not know, we do this whole VIP party on Friday nights at the Hunter Burton Memorial Open, and this has kind of become a tradition that we have a band play. So this time we have Penny and the Flamethrowers. So we really appreciate y'all being here, but why don't you tell me about the three of you? How'd you get together and kind of what brings you to the event?
So this is just like a smaller version of our full band. We have a 5-piece that also plays, but we're able to scale it to whatever's appropriate for each event. So the three of us tend to do a lot of work together because we can be flexible like that.
What was that?
Yeah.
Intimate settings.
Intimate settings.
Yeah,
Okay,
more
that's
intimate
fair.
settings. Yeah. So this is our acoustic ensemble, and this is Dave. We call him the bread man. He's our drummer.
The bread man.
Oh, because his last name is Baird.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
and this is my husband Jack, and my name is Penny.
Oh, so y'all are a
So-
husband, wife. So
Yeah.
did y'all start and go looking for people, or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
Yeah, we came up with the idea, and he just sort of passively mentioned it to someone, and they were like, "Cool name. When can you play?" We went, "Oh man, we better put a band together." And so in about 30 days, we had to learn around 40-something songs.
Oh, gosh.
And we got really, really lucky. We met our original drummer and our current bass player, and we all hit it off right off the bat. Then we added a saxophone shortly after that. And then we've since added Dave, and so we've just been rocking and rolling ever since.
Cool. So how long have y'all been doing this, either as just a twosome or as your group of five?
The group, as a full band, we started, the actual day that we started was December 29th of 2019.
Oh.
And we had a great response, and then the world shut down. So,
Sadly, I can relate. I got into doing some of my content stuff around the same time, and the same situation
yeah,
happened.
We were getting a great response, and but then what was really awesome was that because we were still getting our chops as a kind of a newish sound, and trying things out, and so we were willing to do gigs that other people weren't.
Gotcha.
So when people were allowing bands to come back and play, it was usually outside. You're usually getting paid nothing or very little, and it was usually extreme circumstances like outside and 37 degrees and all kinds of crazy stuff. But we were hungry and we wanted it so bad, but also at that time people were scared, and they were just in a different place than anything we'd ever seen before. And we noticed that our type of music got them doing, like, bopping around and happy and smiling and laughing, even when they came in not expecting to feel anything. And so we said that's what we're supposed to do, and so we just kept it going.
All right. Well, you mentioned your style of music. What can we expect to hear the rest of this evening while everybody's hanging out?
It's like a mishmash of genres. So we started out with just like a rockabilly swing style, and we added in a little country, and we've added a little bit of doo-wop, and we keep some of the traditional rockabilly stuff, blues.
Gotcha.
Anything that gets the feet moving.
Gotcha. All right. So we know you play the drums. What do you bring into the package?
I'm the guitar player. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer. That's what I am. Jack of all trades and master of none. I sing a little, and I play guitar, and run kind of the business end with the bookings and those types of things.
Okay,
And
cool.
he's our
Cool.
manager.
Okay, that makes sense. Somebody's got to do that.
Yeah.
So, in kind of relation to the event, how did you find out about it, and kind of what brings y'all here to kind of want to be part of all this?
Actually, a friend of ours, the guy that played it last year, Mike Rose,
Oh, yeah.
could not do it. He had a prior engagement, and so he called and said, "Are you guys open on this day?" And I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, we are." I work for the city of Louisville as an event coordinator, and so I've got an event tomorrow that we're loading in, and so I cut out of there. Off that, unfortunately, it rained, and so we got our load in cut short today. So we were able to get over. But like I said, yeah, we'll do it. And so I got a hold of Garrett, and Garrett says, "Hey, that's fine, and let's do it." And here we are.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate y'all being here. We're looking forward to it, and hopefully everybody has a good time. So you seem like a wonderful bunch of people. I'm ready to bop my feet.
All right. Let's do it.